I recited a few verses. These are called the Mangala Acharana verses. One minute, let me.
प्रभु जी ने अभी मंगलाचरण वर्सेस गुरु की कृपा प्राप्त करने के लिए मंगलाचरण का उच्चारण किया है.
And these verses are for getting auspiciousness. मंगल होने के लिए ये जो श्लोक मैंने बताया था उसके लिए है. It is said that in the entire world only one person can understand Lord Shiva in completeness, and that is only Krishna. This is given in the Anushasana Parva of Mahabharata. Apart from him, nobody can. So when I am sitting here and speaking about it, definitely I will also fall short. And the next 20 minutes is also not at all sufficient. You can easily talk days and days. 20 minutes is nothing. So we cannot be comprehensive. We'll just can go touch some things as such.
तो प्रभु जी बता रहे हैं कि पूरे वर्ल्ड में, पूरी दुनिया में अगर कोई, पूरे विश्व, पूरे ब्रह्मांड में अगर कोई भगवान को समझ सकता है तो वो एक ही है. शिव को समझ सकता है तो वो एक ही है जो कृष्ण है. और हम लोग अभी 20 और ये जो दिया हुआ है, ये प्रभु जो बता रहे हैं वो अनुशासन पर्व से है. और हम लोग 20 मिनट्स में जितना हो सकता है हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे, मगर ये उससे बियॉन्ड है.
Auntie, you want this kind of translation या सिर्फ प्रभु जी बोल रहे हैं? सबको प्रभु जी का समझ आ रहा है तो फिर ठीक है.
नहीं, अगर आंटी किसी को समझ में नहीं आ रहा तो यू कैन जस्ट रेज योर हैंड एट दैट पॉइंट. प्लीज डोंट हेजिटेट. आप बिल्कुल संकोच मत कीजिए हाथ उठा के रेज करने के लिए. हम लोग ट्रांसलेशन कर देंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है.
बीच बीच में करते जाना.
हाँ,
थोड़ा थोड़ा करते.
और अगर आपको कुछ बोरिंग लगे तो मैं ट्रांसलेशन करूंगा, क्योंकि मेरे हिंदी से सबको हंसी आ जाएगी. Okay. Lord Shiva. The word Shiva has many meanings. Shiva means auspicious. It can also mean curing. And as is given here, there are many other names of Shiva. Mahadev, Maheshwar, Shambhu, Shankara, Bhava. The word Bhava is a very nice word. In Sanskrit, Bhava means to exist. This entire world, material world as we call it. What is this material world? We are on planet Earth. It is just one Bhuloka. Then there is Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. And then we are going to see a painting of this. Below this Bhuloka, we are going to see Atala, Vitala, Suttala, Talatala, Rasatala, Patala. We are going to see there are so many lokas. And in all of them, there are different kinds of living entities. How did they come into existence? The existence is I don't know, how many of you studied Sanskrit when you were in school or college? You studied? In many places, when you study Sanskrit in school, the first lesson that they give is, there's a nice verse that they teach. Vagartha iva pratipatto vagartha pratipaktaye jagataha pitarau vande parvati parameshwarau. Have you all read that? Just like a vak artha, a word and its meaning, you cannot separate it out. In the same way, Parvati and Shiva cannot be separated, and they are the Jagataha Pitarau Vande. Pitarau means Pita and Mata together. So we are going to see or hear a little bit about how Lord Shiva is the father and Goddess Durga or Mother Parvati is the mother, right? But because Lord Shiva is the root cause of is a cause, not only the cause, but a cause of existence, he is called Bhava. So that is one meaning for the word Bhava. Then there are various aspects of Lord Shiva. What we all know as Shiva is just one aspect. We are going to hear that Lord Shiva manifest means he appears in different forms and is in different places. And traditionally in India, people have always had this confusion. Not now, for the past several hundreds and thousands of years. There are portions in the scriptures which say, supposedly, people understand that there is a God, we all have to become one with God. Some things supposedly looks like that, we have to become one with God. Some say, no, we never become one with God. Some say that God which is being referred to is Shiva. Some say that it refers to Vishnu. And there are scriptural statements which do say that one should not separately see Lord Shiva and Vishnu. And there are scriptural statements which say that you have to worship Vishnu and you should not confuse the name of Vishnu with the name of Lord Shiva. How do you even look at this contradiction? So, the various scriptures are not meant for the beginner stages. You want the beginning stages, you can go to Islam, you can go to Christianity, no problem with it. The Vedic scriptures are meant for a more advanced class, which is that some of you are all ladies. You will cook nicely, right? So when you cook, you can put varieties of items and cook something nice. And when a beginner like me, when I come and see it, when I even say first you'll have to put this, you'll have to boil it to this degree, then you'll have to add something, it becomes very complicated. For me it is complicated. But for all of you, it is just normal. Correct? So what is not complicated for me is normal for you. Likewise, the Vedic scriptures say that the Supreme Lord is the one who is the source of everything. When the Supreme Lord is the source of everything, simple things can come from Him, complicated things also can come from Him. And therefore, we have to know that this is the completeness aspect of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is complete when we see Him in relation to various entities. So far clear और any अनुवाद चाहिए कुछ
थोड़ा सा समराइज करके बताइए।
तो प्रभु जी ने बताया कि भगवान के बहुत सारे नाम होते हैं, उनमें से एक नाम होता है भव, तो उसी के बारे में बताया। और हमारे जो ब्रह्मांड है उसमें बहुत तरह के लिविंग एंटिटी होते हैं और उन्हीं में से जो पार्वती और शिवा जो है माता और पिता हैं हमारे पहले, और उन्हीं के कारण हम लोग एक भगवान शिव का नाम भव है। और फिर बहुत सारे एस्पेक्ट प्रभु डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, तो उसमें से जैसे कि भगवान को समझने का, कोई कहते हैं कि भगवान एक है, सब कुछ भगवान है, और एक कोई कहता है लॉर्ड शिवा भगवान है, कोई कहते हैं विष्णु भगवान है। तो बहुत सारे डिफरेंट तरह से लोग भगवान को पूछते हैं। तो उनमें से इसको कैसे समझा जा सकता है, तो पहले ये बोल रहे हैं कि इस्लाम में और क्रिश्चियनिटी में एक बेसिक डेफिनेशन दिया हुआ है। तो अगर सिंपल कुछ पढ़ना है तो इस्लाम और क्रिश्चियनिटी को देख सकते हैं, मगर उससे एडवांस अगर कुछ जाना है तो हमारे स्क्रिप्चर से शास्त्रों से जाना है। तो उसके लिए प्रभु ने एग्जांपल दिया कि जैसे अगर किसी को कुकिंग नहीं आती है तो स्टार्टिंग से कोई बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट डिश बनाना शुरू नहीं करेगा, कोई सिंपल दाल चावल बनाएगा। तो इसी वो उस एग्जांपल से, तो स्टार्टिंग से अगर भगवान को समझना है तो में भी हम लोग समझ सकते हैं इस्लाम से, क्रिश्चियनिटी से, या भगवान सब भगवान है इस तरह से। मगर अगर डीप में समझना है दैट इज प्रभु से
मैं अगर आप सेंटर में नहीं गए तो पूरा प्रश्न मैं आपको ही पूछूंगा।
प्रश्न तो ये
पूछते हैं, ठीक है।
माधव
हरे कृष्ण
कम
माधव
नेक्स्ट
यहाँ तक सबको समझ आया अभी तक जो जितना बताया? कहीं बाउंसर जा रहा होगा तो आप लोग पूछ सकते हैं. You can ask if it is something is not understandable or complicated.
One of the forms of Lord Shiva, especially worshipped in South India, not so much in North India, is called as Dakshinamurti. And Dakshinamurti is such that Lord Shiva is teaching somebody, and at the foot, at his, this painting doesn't have, but at his foot there is a demon who is lying down. And that's the demon of ignorance. So, for many of them, when they approach Lord Shiva, he is the one who teaches them what the scriptural truths are speaking about. It is said that you can read, but you will not be able to understand. It is only when we hear from the mouth of somebody we will be able to understand. There is some magic. I honestly don't know about how this is a magic, but I too fell into a trap once. I thought, I have heard enough, now let me just read through it and go. And after some time, I could understand everything, but I was not getting any taste in it. There was no value, cherishing or anything in just reading. But very simple things, when it came from the mouth of another person, very simple stuff. It seemed, wow, it touched the heart. The Shastras are meant to be heard. This is like whatever we read here is like recorded so that we don't forget it, thoda basics rahe. But it is meant to be spoken and it is meant to be heard. And that's why there are those who like to hear from Lord Shiva. And after hearing from Lord Shiva, they go to the next stage. What is it? Hopefully we'll cover it. Next. How does Lord Shiva appear? Okay. I am using the word appear. Lord Krishna appeared as a son of Mother Yashoda. Right? Sorry, he appeared as a son of Mother Devaki and then he became the son of Mother Yashoda. It is also true that he came as a son of Mother Yashoda. That is a different thing altogether. That's a story for some other time. Maybe during Janmashtami. Likewise, Ramachandra came as a son, appeared as a son of Kaushalya. What is the word that I am using? Appeared. What am I trying to say? The equivalent Sanskrit word, avatar. What is avatar? Something is there, coming down is called avatar. There is a spiritual world already present, but now I am coming and manifesting. And when something is done, they go back. If you see, for example, Krishna, how did he leave this world? One hunter threw a shot an arrow on his foot. Does anybody die by an arrow at the foot? Nobody dies, right? But then he died. He wanted to show that I am leaving this world. If you think I am this body, yes, you can think so. I am dying here. If you think otherwise, I am just going to disappear into something else. So that's the way it happened. Okay. Likewise, we learn something about Lord Shiva here. Lord Shiva, in one manifestation, he appeared between the eyebrows of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma, after his creation, he got very angry. And when he got angry, from that anger, Lord Shiva appeared. And when he became very angry, he started to destroy the world. And when he started to destroy the world, which was being created, it was just about being created by Lord Brahma. So what happens is, Lord Brahma is the first created person. He is given the ingredients to create the world. And when he is given the ingredients to create the world, what is the ingredient? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. He is given all of this. But we are the ones who are residing in the world. Who gives that? That is given by Lord Shiva to Mother Parvati. Who gives it to Lord Shiva? That is given by Lord Vishnu. The souls in the Vedic civilization, time is cyclical. Like how we have day and night and then day and night and day and night, time goes in cycles. So when time goes in cycles, at the end of the day of Brahma, all the jivas, whoever is present, all of us, we get into the belly of Lord Vishnu. And we are there like in coma. Somebody is in coma, they don't understand what's happening. And when the time of creation happens, Lord Brahma is the first person who comes from the navel, the Nabhi here, and then he is given the ingredients for creation. When he is given the ingredients for creation, he also needs the jivas. Lord Shiva and Parvati. Now I am saying Lord Shiva and Parvati give it. But where the world is created? The world has not been created. Where are they coming from? This means this is the energy who are there in the spiritual world. It is the material world which is created. The spiritual world is not created. That remains as it is. So, there is an aspect of Lord Shiva in the spiritual world who comes. But then I said when Lord Brahma is creating, in between he got angry and Shiva is coming from the eyebrows of Lord Brahma. How is it possible? This is an expansion of Lord Shiva in the Vaikuntha Loka. Right? We cannot expand. If I am here, I cannot be in silk board. It will take me 3 hours to go to silk board. But the Supreme Lord can be here and he can be there. Likewise, his empowered representatives can be in multiple places. That is possible. A jiva, if all of you become perfect jivas, then perfection means we let go of the fact that I am meant to enjoy my body. I am meant to enjoy the world. The moment this goes off, and then we say, I am meant to do something for Bhagavan. That comes, we have achieved perfection. At that time, you all can be there in 7 places at a time. But the Supreme Lord can be in infinite places at a time. But that's a long wait for all of us. So this is how Lord Shiva once appeared from the eyebrows of Lord Brahma. You see this painting here?
Prabhu, that last point didn't understand. How that Lord Shiva came, then how it is related to I am here to achieve the world. Achieve the life.
Okay, no, what I meant to say here is, we are seeing Lord Shiva supposedly in the spiritual world, but he is also expanding into the material world by coming through the eyebrows of Lord Brahma, which means he is expanding. Can we also expand? But the jivas we can't. We are here in one place only. We are the conditioned souls. But when we become perfect, we can be at the perfect realized devotee can be in 7 places at the same time. Not all, only some of them. Like Narada Muni, he could be simultaneously at 7 places. But Narada Muni saw when he went to Dwaraka, he saw 16,108 different forms of Krishna. He said, I can go be there in 7 places at the same time. I am seeing Krishna with each wife in a separate palace, separately. So
doing different things.
Doing different things, not the same thing. Different wives, different things, simultaneously. And that is why it is said, if anybody wants to have more than one wife, be like Krishna. You expand simultaneously, do simultaneously this and that. Showcase that, then you can do all what you want.
What is this significance? 7 places? What does it mean?
So there is something called as the kala, or the different attributes. There are 64 qualities, something like that. Of these 64 qualities, the living entity, Jiva, can take 50 of those qualities. And one of those qualities is, I can be in different places and things like that. Max, Jiva can take 50, and even in that, they cannot take 100% of that. Like somebody can be good in painting, somebody can be good in writing, but to some extent here. One Leonardo da Vinci may be very good in something, but he cannot be good in everything else. But the best of the jivas, like Lord Brahma, is very good in 50. He is perfection of 50. And likewise, we have different deities who can go different. It is only Krishna who has all the 64 put together. So we are in that 50, we don't even have 50. We are 1, 2 or 3, and even in that 1, 2 or 3, we are 10 power minus 6%. That is where we are. Okay. What did he do? Next. He appeared from the eyebrows of Lord Sankarshan. So he appeared from eyebrows of Lord Brahma. in a different time he appeared from the eyebrows of Lord Sankarshan. Okay? Then he has also appeared between the eyebrows of Mahavishnu. According to, and in the bracket, we are giving the references to the different scriptures where it is mentioned. SB is Srimad Bhagavatam, BS is Brahma Samhita. Okay? Now, he is also called as the glance of Mahavishnu. Just imagine, somebody sees, when we see, there is, I just see it here, but when the Supreme Lord, for the Supreme Lord, everything he does is spiritual. There is nothing material. Like for me to see, I have an eyesight, I need an external light, it has to shine here, only then I can see something. But the Supreme Lord is independent. If Mahavishnu is independent, why should light shine on something? So when he sees, that is also spiritual, and that is Lord Shiva there. When he sees, that it's more precisely called Shambhu, or he is more precisely called, the glance of Lord Mahavishnu is Shambhu. We are going to come there. Okay? And this is where...
समझ रहे हैं सबको अभी तक के जितना हुआ? You all understood? Anything that needs to be clarified? Swati, you are listening.
So you see Lord Mahavishnu, he is glancing. You want a pen? I have a pen. No. आपको पेन चाहिए?
No, it's not working.
That's what ये चलेगा. ये चलेगा. लीजिए. This glance of Mahavishnu. So if you see Mahavishnu here, you see a light coming from his eyes, and there it is Durga Devi. Right? That light is the Shambhu aspect, and this Shambhu is impregnating Mother Durga with all the souls. So the souls who are there in the belly region of Mahavishnu at the end of the day of Brahma, they are getting into Durga Devi, and Durga Devi is the one who is going to introduce all the souls here in this material world. Why? And that is why she is called Durga. She is Durga means fort. So the one who is the controller of the fort is Durga Devi. So this entire material world is like a prison. Such a great prison, it has no walls. It has no bars. You don't need to count anything, but you just can't get out of it. We create prisons in which we have to put all barriers, everything for people to not jump out. So those souls who do not wish to be with the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord says, Durga Devi, you create a facility, but they are not supposed to go out of this world. And she is so great that she creates this world where people just cannot figure out. You can go to Mars, you can go to Moon, but we don't know how to go to spiritual world. That's how it is. That's how fantastic Durga Devi is. Okay? So Durga Devi, so before I go back here. So Durga Devi has a role like most of you parents have. Your child does not want to study. When your child is young, your child does not want to brush his tooth or her tooth. They don't want to clean the place, and yet you will have to make them do all that work. That is what Durga Devi's work is. The living Jivas here, we are called as Bahir Mukha Jeev. We see elsewhere. We have to become some Mukha Jeev. That there is a Supreme Lord who is our well-wisher. Let us turn our attention to him. Because we are not turning our attention, Durga Devi is here intentionally creating difficulties in this world. अरे अभी तो सुधर जाओ, देखो क्या होने वाला है. Or some people, they get the best of the things and suddenly they have dissatisfaction. They have lot of wealth, they have lot of knowledge, but they sense the dissatisfaction. Durga Devi brings about that. To arise in them, there is something more. But the moment a person comes and says that I want to approach the absolute truth, then Durga Devi takes it different. Zarur chahiye kya? Do you really need it? Now I'll give you something more. Why don't you try it? So she gives distractions to test, do you really need it? It is not just Durga Devi, even her other living entities in this material world, like the Devatas. When Hanuman was jumping from India to Sri Lanka, why was he jumping? To see Mother Sita. Why should he see Mother Sita? Because if Sita is there, he can come back to Ram and tell. What will happen when Ram knows? He will kill Ravan. Why should Ram kill Ravan? Because the Devatas had said, this Ravana is terrorizing us, please kill him. And the Supreme Lord said, Karunga, I will do. But these very same Devatas for whom all these things are happening, they tested Hanuman. And they said, as he is going in the ocean, they asked one of a demoness to say, you please hold Hanuman. Why? Because they wanted to say, see, is he really up to the job? Is he the person who can really help? Lord Rama had trust, but the Devatas didn't have trust in Hanuman. Let us see, kar sakta hai kya? And Hanuman, as usual, he passed the test left, right and center. No problem. Likewise, that's the role of Durga Devi. What I'd like to see here, we have 5 minutes more, 10 minutes more.
No, we have 10. We have 9.
12
We can
15 minutes, okay. I'll say to you, this is a fantastic topic here. But anyway, what I want to talk in summary, the first immediate two aspects I want to talk is, one was how Lord Shiva appeared. Now, what is his residence? What is the residence of Lord Shiva according to all of you? He has many residences. You all tell me what is his residence.
Kailash.
Mount Kailash, very great. And then after that, any other residence? Anything else? Okay. There are 4 major residences of Lord Shiva. And depending on where he stays, what he does is different. And so we are going to go with Mount Kailash, we are going to come almost in the middle or towards the end. First we'll go to something else. Huh? Smashan Ghat. Smashan Ghat is also in the material world. I'll start from the spiritual world. Okay? So, Lord Shiva appears firstly is present in Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means Akuntha. There is no
anxiety
in this world. That's the right word. There is no anxiety at all. Why is there anxiety? If suppose I have a body, if I'm going to become old, I will be anxious. How will I be able to walk? How can I eat? If I have this body and if I get a disease, how can I manage if I get a disease? All those are anxieties. For children, your anxiety is, when will there be exam? Why is there exam? Correct? Unnecessarily you have to study for an exam also. So if you don't want all anxieties, you should try to go to the Vaikuntha Loka. Okay, there is no exam like this. Nobody will ask how much do you memorize, etc. Okay. Then he has one more place of residence between Vaikuntha and the material world. We are going to call it's called as Mahakalapur. We are going to talk a little bit about it. Then I said about Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Maharloka, all these lokas. Beyond all these lokas is the covering of earth. And it is several yojanas or several thousands of kilometers thick. 10 times that thickness is water. 10 times that is air, fire. Like that, each of these is 10 times thicker. In these covering shells, also Lord Shiva is present. And then he is present within the material universe. Which means what? Lord Shiva is present everywhere. So, you find some verses which say, oh Lord Shiva, you are everywhere. This is what it means. When he says everywhere, he's everywhere. In different aspects, in different expansions as such. Okay. I will skip some things. Okay, let me go directly here. This is an important principle. It's just a principle for everybody to understand. But
Presentation.
I did presentation. Okay. Okay. This is a principle that needs to be understood just to understand something about Lord Shiva. Okay. There are many Vedic scriptures. The essence of all the Vedic scriptures, I'm just cutting it short. We can go on it for 3 days, but the essence of all the Vedic scriptures is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. How? That is a big logic, reasoning, and everything is there. I'm cutting it short. According to the Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures, the original person of the Supreme Lord is Sri Krishna. And this Sri Krishna also expands. Expansion means he can do this, he can do something else. For each of you, for you to understand expansion, just look at it this way. You are a wife, you are a mother, you may also be a working woman. What you do in office is different from the way you be with your child and the way you are with your husband. It's very different. And you are also a daughter-in-law or a mother-in-law. And same is for all the men here. We all have our roles to play. And to each of them, we are different. We are the very same person, but we act differently. Like you may go in shorts in house, you may not go in shorts in an office. Of course, in some places in California, they do that too. So anyway, so likewise, we are different here. Why are we different? We are different to different people because we all emanate from the Supreme Lord. If suppose, for example, you have a bowl of water, you take a drop of water. The quality of the drop of water is going to be similar to the bowl of water. Difference is this quality is in milliliters, this quantity may be in liters. That is all the difference that is there. Likewise, the Supreme Lord, whatever we have is coming from the Supreme Lord. So if we can be differently to different people at different times, the Supreme Lord also can. That is the whole basis of this principle of expansion. Okay? The Supreme Lord here expands first is what is called as Swayam Rupa. First is Swayam Rupa. He is as he is. May I say you. So to your dearmost persons, you are just may I say you. Probably you will be like that to your wife or your mother, likewise you to your husband, something like that. That is the Swayam Rupa. Then there is something called as Tadekatma Rupa. I will come. So Swayam Rupa is something is not dependent on others. अरे नहीं अरे तो नहीं मिल गया आप ट्रांसलेट
थोड़ा सा तो पहले तो हम लोगों ने अभी लॉर्ड शिवा का रेजिडेंस देखा कि कहाँ पे रहते हैं लॉर्ड शिवा। तो उसके लिए प्रभु ने चार तरह की चीज़ चार बताए ना जगह। पहले तो बताया कि वैकुंठ में रहते हैं, उसके बाद में बताया कि बहुत सारे शेल्स हैं जैसे अर्थ वाटर एयर और उसके वहाँ पे भी रहते हैं और एक मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में रहते हैं। ब्रह्मांड जो है ना, ब्रह्मांड के जो कवरिंग्स हैं 7 कवरिंग्स हैं, भूमि अपो नलो वायुर खम मनो करके सब ये लेयर्स जो है वो लेयर्स में भी रहते हैं भगवान। बियॉन्ड दिस लेयर वहाँ पे भी है, वैकुंठ में भी है, इस लेयर में भी है और इस जगत के अंदर भी है। ये जो अंडा है ना, ब्रह्मांड जो है अंडा बोलते हैं ना, तो अंदर भी है, शेल्स में भी है और उसके बाहर भी है। और उसके पहले वो बताया था ना ग्लैंस का, जैसे महाविष्णु जब अपना रचना शुरू करते हैं, सृष्टि का रचना शुरू कर रहे हैं, तो वो टाइम वो डायरेक्टली दुर्गा देवी के संपर्क में नहीं आते हैं। वो क्या करते हैं, अपने ग्लान से मतलब अपनी दृष्टि से भूमि देवी को या जो दुर्गा को स्पर्श करते हैं, डायरेक्ट स्पर्श नहीं करते हैं। वो उनके ग्लांस जो है वो है शंभु तत्व। तो ये जो शंभु तत्व है ये कांटेक्ट करते हैं प्रधान से, मतलब वो जो दुर्गा देवी है उनसे टच में आके फिर प्रकृति का सृष्टि होता है, द वर्ल्ड इज क्रिएटेड उसके बाद में। ठीक है माता जी।
हाँ। और एक ये भी बताया कि ऐसा दुर्गा देवी का क्या रोल क्या है, दुर्गा देवी का हमारे, तो उसमें ये बताया कि हम लोग जो जीव जो हैं वो बहिर्मुख हैं, कि भगवान चाहते हैं कि उनकी तरफ हम लोग देखें, मगर हम लोग भगवान को नहीं चाहते, हम लोग अपने भगवान से दूर होना चाहते हैं। तो फिर इसके लिए भगवान ने दुर्गा देवी को रखा है ताकि वो हमको कुछ पनिशमेंट और ऐसे कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स दे के हमको रियलाइज कराए कि अगर हम भगवान की तरफ नहीं रहेंगे तो प्रॉब्लम में रहेंगे। और फिर और साथ में ये कि अगर कोई जाना चाहता है भगवान के पास में तो फिर वो टेस्ट भी करती है। तो जैसे प्रभु ने एग्जाम्पल बताया हनुमान जी का, तो हनुमान जी जब जा रहे थे तो देवताओं ने भेजा उनको कि जाओ उनको पकड़ लो, और रास्ते में जाते हैं ना देवता समुद्र से जब छलांग लगाते तो वो इसलिए करते हैं कि देवता देखना चाहते थे कि वो क्वालिफाइड है कि नहीं। तो इसी तरह से अगर हम भगवान की तरफ जाते हैं और कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं तो दुर्गा देवी देखना चाहती है कि हम लोग रियली भगवान को पाने के काबिल है कि नहीं है, ये ऐसा बताया। और अभी जो जस्ट लास्ट वाला जो प्रभु ने बताया उसमें बताया कि बहुत सारे स्क्रिप्चर्स हैं, उसमें से उसमें भगवान को बताया गया है कि भगवान अपने आप को एक्सपांड कर सकते हैं, एक रूप से बहुत सारे रूपों में आ सकते हैं। तो ये क्वालिटी हमारे अंदर भी है, जैसे हम लोग भी जैसे वुमेन एक मदर भी हैं, सिस्टर भी हैं, वाइफ भी हैं, है ना, बहुत सारे रूप में। तो ये क्वालिटी जो हमारे अंदर, हालांकि मैं खुद हूँ एक और मगर बहुत सारे रूपों में हूँ, तो ये क्वालिटी भगवान से ही हमारे अंदर आई, क्योंकि भगवान भी बहुत सारे उसमें अलग अलग एक्सपांड करके रहे हैं।
So, now, one of the things that you see here, you all can look at the screen, I'll be looking at here, I can't see so clearly from here. First is, the Supreme Lord is in his own form as Swayam Rupa, they are not dependent on others. Next is Tadekatma Rupa. It is different, but it looks, the shape and activities are different. How? If Krishna appears as Swayam Rupa, his Tad Ek Atma Rupa is Balaram. Krishna is black, Balaram is white. That's it. That's all the difference. There is nothing else. But Balaram exists independently, but he is dependent on the Supreme Lord. That's it. Next, there is the Avesh Rupa. These are actually the exalted resident Jivas of Vaikunta. They are empowered by the Lord with portion of his power, such as knowledge, etc. Knowledge, bhakti, etc. Knowledge is Kumaras, bhakti is Narada Muni, etc. So whenever the scriptures speak, you are equal to the Supreme Lord. What does it mean? It means you have the power of the Supreme Lord. But the Jiva cannot have 100% power. He will have finite power. But for most of us, that is much more than what we can fathom. It is like our pot is small. What the level of the knowledge and bhakti which Narada Muni or Kumaras, the 4 Kumaras can give is too huge. It is like an overflowing for us. अरे काफी है, इतना ही काफी है, इससे ज़्यादा हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. So that is the Avesh Rupa. In other words, just like the father manifests in a child, whatever the qualities of the father are there or the mother is there, it comes in the child. Because the child always observes the father and the child becomes like the father. You see, if in a family where the children really like the parents, they end up doing the same things what the parents do. And that is why it is said, first thing in parenting is, parents, you become proper. Don't try to teach children. You become proper and have affection for your child, and the children will automatically become proper. That's all. As simple as that. So, because these are the Sammukha Jeev, they are seeing the Supreme Lord, they have received the fullness of what Supreme Lord wants to give. In other words, in this world, if a person has something, he doesn't like to share it with others. He says, my USP, my unique selling proposition is lost if others get it. So that is why people don't try to share it. We go to the extent that There could be a Mr. Sharad Pawar, but he doesn't want to give power to his bhanja, batija, whatever it is, right? Until his last minute, he has to be in power. That is the feature of this material world. But for the Supreme Lord, the moment he sees somebody liking him, I am sold to you. You please rule over me. He likes those kind of people. But he is waiting for us to be fully interested in him. Then he gives himself to us. That is his nature. So that is why we have this Avesh Rupa, where he empowers even living entities with his Shakti. And this brings us to an important aspect. Purusha and Prakriti. The Supreme Lord is the Purusha and everything else is his Prakriti. Like I have an energy. This energy is used for me to move my hand from here to here. Energy does not exist independent of the Supreme Lord. This is that relationship of Lord Shiva to Lord Krishna. So they both are tied together. You cannot say a person is independent of energy, etc. But I will, and because of my power, my hand moves and my energy cooperates with me. That is the relationship between Shiva and Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna here. And then we finally have the Prakash Rupa, right? Now, I will come, wait a minute, to that I need to show the big picture. So, she was talking about the Brahmanda, right? You see this one universe, that is one Brahmanda. Okay? There are many such Brahmandas. Our universe is not that complicated. So we have one Brahma who has Chaturmukha. He has 4 heads. He is able to, with 4 heads, he is able to manage this universe. Very we see it as complicated, but he is able to manage. There are other universes which are more complicated. They have 1,000 head Brahma, 10,000 head Brahma, like that. Very complicated. But all such universes are there. All of these are floating in water. If you see, each of these andas. How many of you used to see Doordarshan between 1988 and 1992? Anybody raise your hands? There used to be a serial called Discovery of India. Bharate Khoj. Correct. Bharate Khoj. In the beginning of that Bharate Khoj, one of the Hiranyagarbha Sutram used to be said. Hiranyagarbha samavartatagre bhutat jatat bhatireka masit. You remember that? That used to come. It is that Hiranyagarbha. In the beginning, when this Hiranyagarbha came, what was there? Nothing else. It was just this causal ocean that was present everywhere. That is what that Hiranyagarbha Sutram. It's talking about that creation. So it is lying in this causal ocean. And how did each of these the egg kind of a thing, how did they come? They all came from the pores of Lord Mahavishnu. And after coming there, Lord Vishnu again entered inside. You see, I don't know if you can see it so much. You get inside, and from there he comes. Lord Vishnu comes in one form. From his form, Lord Brahma appears. Okay?
The bottommost in that egg, there is Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu lying there.
Okay, so this Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from his name Nabhi, navel, Lord Brahma is coming there. Okay? Now.
And in the surrounding thing, you can see the infinite number of such andas. So many coming out from the pores of Mahavishnu. Yes.
So, now, Lord Shiva is present in this anda, within this anda, if you see, between there is this Brahma Jyoti, and after the Brahma Jyoti there is something in between there, correct? Where the arrow is shown. He is present there. So that is where you are going to see this Mahakalapur, etc. He is also present in the Vaikuntha Loka, and there's a place called Sadashiva Loka. So when Lord Shiva is spoken as Sadashiv, it is in Vaikuntha. When you are talking about Kailash, it is within this anda, within this material world here. Okay? So I will now come back here. This is one more illustration to tell it a little differently. You're able to see. I think I have to get up and it's easier to show that. So this is, you saw the andas, right? So Mahavishnu, outside of the andas, he was lying in the outside the eggs. That is called the Karana ocean. He was lying from there, and Rama Devi, his consort, is pleasing him by pressing his legs, etc. She is doing all of that. And so this Mahavishnu also has come to this material world. He is originally present here, but he has come here. This line that is shown here, this is in one sense a boundary. Please don't, this is a graphical representation for illustrating a concept. You can't exactly take it this way, but this is what it is. Out above this is Sadashiva, the Vaikuntha Lokas, and below this is the material world. The Sadashiva Loka is here. This is all the spiritual world. And in this spiritual world is where you find Lord Sadashiva, here. And Maya Devi is here. I will show you here. Mahavishnu glances on Maya Devi, and when he glances on her, this is Shambhu. Okay? So he's there, Sadashiv, he's there, Shambhu, here. Okay? Now, 1 minute. Oh, when I take out from presentation mode, it goes away.
You have to put it back.
Back in presentation mode, okay.
Because we are not duplicating the displays.
Okay.
We can do it.
That's okay. Another illustration. So this is, we have various lokas, earth loka, then bhuvar loka, mahar loka, jan loka, tapa loka, satya loka, all these lokas. Then we have each of the different coverings of this, for this is within one anda. Okay? Lord Shiva is present even here. And this is where we saw the earliest Sadashiva Loka. And this is the Mahakalapura. And where is this Mahakalapur? The Bhagavatam, in one day when you all will read that, we see that once some children were kidnapped by Lord Mahavishnu. Why? Because he wanted to see Krishna. So they were kidnapped and they were taken to this Mahakalapur. And so the scriptures do speak about this Mahakalapur, etc. And because he stays in Mahakalapur, he is also called as Mahakaleshwar. In Ujjain, you worship that aspect of Lord Shiva. He is present in Mahakalapur as such. Okay. Now, I want to bring something here. I'm going a little fast here because I wanted to cover an important aspect. So, let's see. So where all does he stay? in the Vaikuntha realm, he stays as in Lord Sadashiva. Okay? Between the Vaikuntha realm and the material world, there is this Mahakalapur. He stays as the Lord of Mahakalapur there. Okay? Then he stays within the covering shells of the material universe. Okay? Next, he is there in the material universe. These are the broad 4 categories. But in the material universe also, he stays in multiple places. One is definitely Mount Kailash. Second, there is a place, like we all are living in what is called as Bharatavarsha. But the Bharatavarsha is not the only continent here. There is also another continent called Ilavrtavarsha. There is a Kim Purusha Loka. All of these are different. The scriptures give us. So Lord Shiva is present in a place called Ilavrtavarsha also. Then I told about the places called Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala. So there's a Vitala planetary system. Not below Bhuloka, then there's Atala, then there is Vitala. He is present in Vitala also. Then, at the bottommost part of the universe, so we have this egg, right? How is this egg resting? This, I think I should show you the picture. That's fantastic picture. Hopefully. I think it is this. Okay. You see, this is our Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, everything is there here. This is Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Mahatloka, Janaloka, all of them are there. Okay? Where are they resting on? They are resting on this. You see this snake kind of a thing? This is Anantasesha. Okay? Where is the snake resting on? The snake is resting on Kurmavatar. Here. So Anantasesha himself is resting on Kurmavatar here. This is the tortoise. Where is the tortoise resting on? The tortoise is resting on the wind that floats there. The wind that is going. So the wind can be a support. It is tough to believe, but that's what it is here. And where is the wind resting on? On the Supreme Lord Lord Vishnu. So at this place here, Lord Shiva, we are going to that's the connection to the next part that we are going. He is worshipping Lord, the Supreme Lord, as Sankarshan. Even here and even in the Sadashiva Loka, Lord Shiva is worshipping the Supreme Lord as Sankarshan. Why? How? So let's put it, or let me ask the same question in a different way. When we see, we all like to worship somebody. What's the basis for us to see like somebody? Sometimes it is the qualities. Sometimes it is by worshipping that person we receive something. Sometimes we are able to perceive it. Many times, simply, we see a nice painting of Lord Shiva. When he's sitting in a pose as a yogi and meditating, it's so pleasing for us and we get attracted to it. Whatever be the case here, based on our attraction, we worship him. Now, we want to worship him in various ways. But what does Lord Shiva want? We should ideally worship a person the way they want, if at all they have to be worshipped. Just like you are married, you would want to give a gift to your wife what she wants. It's not like what you want. You may want to buy a Jaguar car. You will not give a gift of a Jaguar car to your wife probably. Right? Something like that. So, to understand the heart of Lord Shiva. Karamlama? Okay. Sorry.
She's not keeping well.
Okay. Okay. In the fourth canto of the fourth skanda of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is, just like we have Bhagavad Gita, we have many other Gitas. One is Uddhava Gita, where Krishna spoke to Uddhava. But there is also in the Bhagavatam another Gita called the Rudra Gita, where Lord Shiva spoke to the Prachetas. And the Prachetas were the sons of the king, They had everything there, but they were told, please create progeny. And they said, how to create progeny? We will go and pray. None of us, in our current Kali Yuga condition, when we are told, when we think that we want to have a child, we think husband and wife come together and we have a child. But first thing that is there is, the samskara is, let me get the blessings of the Supreme Lord. That is why we have the Shodasha samskaras. And it starts with Garbhadhana samskara. To beget a proper child, one has to do tapasya to please the Supreme Lord and please the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. Then only everything else starts. So they did that first. Not only did they, they were not one or two, there were thousands of them. They had very good cooperation amongst all of them. Because they had very good cooperation amongst all of them, and they were trying to please the Supreme Lord, Lord Shiva appeared and he said, I am very pleased by all of you being working in a spirit of cooperation and trying to please the Supreme Lord. And then he says, here, where do I go? Yeah. It is, and so it is Canto 4, Chapter 24, text 27 onwards, but I'll actually go to text 28. He says, Yah param brahmasha saksha triguna jiva samnitat bhagavantam vasudevam prapanna sa priyo hime. He says, any person who's prapanna, who's surrendered to Vasudeva, he is very dear to me.
This is spoken by Shiva to Prachetas.
To the Prachetas. And you all are trying to please Lord, the Supreme Lord Krishna, and therefore I am very, very happy with you. And then he says, Swadharmanishta shatajanma vippuman virinchitam eti tata param himam avyaktam bhagavato ata vaishnavam padam yataham vibulaha kalatyaye. He says, Swadharma nishtitaha, somebody who does their, what you call, their dharma as a brahmana or a kshatriya or a vaishya or a shudra, or as a brahmachari, as a grahastha, as a vanaprastha or a sannyas. The chatur, 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. Somebody who does this, their duties very nicely for shata janma vihi, for 100 births. Puman, that kind of a person, he becomes qualified to get the post of Lord Brahma. And if he becomes even more qualified after that, he can approach me as Lord Shiva. Okay? But a person who is directly surrendered to Krishna or Vishnu is directly promoted to the Vaikuntha Loka. So the Vaikuntha Loka, Sadashiva Loka, beyond the Sadashiva Loka, there are many other spiritual planets. He can go there itself. And then Lord Shiva says, you are all devotees of the Lord, and as such I appreciate that you are as respectable as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. I know in this way that the devotees also respect me, and I am dear to them. Thus no one can be as dear to the devotees as I am. There is a very important principle which is embedded in this verse, which is the relation which Lord Shiva has with the Supreme Lord is He is the greatest devotee of the Supreme Lord. There can be nobody as great as Him. And that is why whenever one visits a holy place, typically you worship Lord Shiva of that holy place and only then enter there. For example, you go to Puri. When you go to Puri, outside of Puri you have Bhubaneswar. There is Lingaraj. We worship Lingaraj saying, I need entrance to Puri and only then get in. Then you also say, for example, you go to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan there is a place called Gopeshwar Mahadev. What happened in Vrindavan is, when Krishna was enacting the Rasa Leela, it so happened that Lord Shiva also wanted to come and participate. And when he wanted to come and participate, there were gopis who were guarding saying, those who have not developed full love for Godhead cannot come. And when they saw Lord Shiva with all his skulls here, he had all the matted hair, there was this ashes on his face, etc. They saw superficially he is something, and they could recognize clearly that he has pure love for God. But they said, there is one thing in here, you have love for God, but you are still in the mode that you are the Jagataha Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwaru. You are the father, somebody else is the mother. Actually, when one gets fully liberated, one considers himself only as Prakriti. I am meant to serve. The Purusha is somebody serves me and I will do something for them. Prakriti is I am just there to serve. That is more the feminine quality. So the gopis said, you still are not, you still have a trace that you are the Lord. A little is there. So what do I do? They said, you please go to Tulsi Devi, or she is also called Vrinda Devi. She will teach you something. So Vrinda Devi, so Lord Shiva went in front of Vrinda Devi. Now note that these gopis, these Vrinda, they are all actually not the gopis who just were born here. They were originally in the spiritual world. They have also descended to participate. So Vrinda Devi said, my dear Lord Shiva, you are well qualified. This small thing is there, right? Come, let's go to Manasi Ganga. So they went to this lake called Manasi Ganga. Lord Shiva went inside, and when he came out, he came in as a lady. And then he was said, Krishna said, oh, you look very different. You have the dress of a lady, your bhava is nice, but all your other things are different. You please stand guard here. You observe what is happening for the Rasa Leela. You observe, but don't allow any other person to come in. And henceforth, that is why, for us, when we enter Vrindavan, we have to pray to Lord Shiva. I can just get my hands and legs, but my heart is not getting in. You please help me to get in. That is a mood in which we worship Lord Shiva. That you help us to get access to the Supreme Lord. You are the greatest devotee. And then we can go to. So I think I exceeded your time by 20 minutes. I am sorry. We'll pause here and you all can continue. Any comments, questions? Quick, 2-3 minutes. Please, you have? No, let it be open. I mean, you can say any which way. And I may not have answers to all your questions. I may have to study and find out, but I'll study and tell you if I can. Any questions? That's it.
Anything, Himadri? I was hoping that you will have lots and lots of questions again. This topic.
Anesthesia. You can write it also, and she can.
Madhvi, you have anything to comment?
This topic is little difficult to understand.
Difficult to understand. No, sorry, I didn't do a good job.
Not like that. Depth is there.
Depth is there, yes.
Depth is there.
No.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes we have to study.
We have to study a lot, yes. Yeah. Study a lot is one, but we also have to develop a simple heart. Only then Lord Shiva is pleased. Just like he was pleased with the prachetas, right? We have to serve other devotees. We have to go to the Supreme Lord. Then he reveals himself to us. One parting comment here. So what is the relationship between Lord Shiva and the Supreme Lord? It's like milk and yogurt or curd. Yogurt comes from milk, but there is some addition to it. There is whatever bacteria or whatever you call it, and then it becomes curd. From yogurt you cannot get back milk. So when the one aspect of the Supreme Lord who is in touch with the modes of material nature, that is the mode of ignorance, tamas especially, is Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva himself is not in the mode of ignorance. He has to work. with all of them. That way you can see. It is thereof, there is a difference, there is oneness. But what does Lord Shiva do? He's very similar to, in one sense, it is similar to Balaram. Balaram has the power of the Supreme Lord. But he always says, I want to serve the Supreme Lord. He comes as Lakshmana and he says, I am there to serve Ram. He comes as Balaram, and Balaram, even Krishna appears also, and says, I have to protect Krishna and I will help him in various other ways. In a similar way, Lord Shiva is always meditating on Lord Vishnu, and he's trying to do the work that he needs for Lord Vishnu for the material world. Why? Because each of you and me, we are all dear to the Supreme Lord, and somehow our attention has to go back to the Supreme Lord. So Lord Shiva is helping in it, his consort Durga Devi is helping in it, and we have to make use of the help. And one of the ways in which we get the blessings of Lord Shiva is when a guru comes in our life. Just like in the Shiva Loka, or there is he comes as Dakshinamurti that we saw in one of the slides. When a guru comes, like by worshipping the guru, when we know that the guru is coming in the right parampara, we get the blessings of Lord Shiva. Because Lord Shiva comes through the guru parampara in that sense. There is actually a sampradaya called Rudra Sampradaya, where Nimbarkacharya appeared. But in general, by having a guru in our life, we know that we have the blessings of Lord Shiva. And when we have devotees in our life, we know we have Lord Shiva's blessings. That's it. Okay?
But in Rameshwaram, Rama worshipped Shiva.
You think, okay, how many of you think that is true? Okay. That has another 4 parts to it.
Okay, some other day.
Krishna also worship Lord Shiva in somewhere. Maybe we have seen in Ramanand Sagar, Sura Krishna only, but we have seen Krishna was worshipping when Hanuman, when he called Hanuman to chastise Arjuna, when Arjuna had got pride at that time. Shivratri was there, so he was.
I can do one thing. I can send you a write-up about Lord Ram worshipping Shiva and Rameshwara, because I think you have office work. I too have office work. We have to go and do other things.
So since it is already late, should we chant, or how you would like to do? Yeah.
She wants chanting like full house, that we should.
Okay.
Chanting.
Is it okay? Only for today we have exceeded the time limit, but next time onwards we will try to stick to time.
Yeah. When I am there, it will get exceeded. When she is there, it will not.
Extra.
I have. उनका bag ले रखा है. In that bag there is extra.
जिन्होंने मंगाई थी
You can. Sonal, were you able to follow any questions or anything? Maybe you can all think over the topic, what he told, come up with questions, and you can maybe message him.
One question, maybe 2 or 3 of you. Can you summarize what was your key takeaway? That way I will know. What is your key takeaway? Maybe you can start. I'll start with you. What is your key takeaway? And one key question you have in mind. It's okay, you may not want me to tell, but something you want to.
Takeaway wise, we got to know a bit about, I would say bit only about the origin of Shiva and where exactly we can find where exactly resides. These are something new to us. We also got to know about the role of Durga Ma and what we got. One question probably may not be significant here, but what I had here is, we saw that Shiva is present in multiple places. When the layers of around the earth, which
Ah.
on.
Ah.
So what is the significance of this information to people living on the material world?
Very nice. It is, the main significance is different lokas have people who have different desires. As long as I maintain any desire, I will find a place somewhere. And Krishna has made facility that you know when I show that earth, water, fire, air, ether. Normally when I think of earth, I just think of soil. But what is there in earth? I have all these emeralds, diamonds, all these minerals, etc. All these present things are there. So in that loka where it is made of earth, there is a predominating deity. There is a place where it is dazzling with all these jewels and everything there. If somebody is so enamored by jewelry, etc., that is the place for you to go. So the information given here is, you have a desire, the Supreme Lord will please you. By saying, not please you, He make arrangements saying, be there. You want me, come to me for myself. You want just my energies, I will create something for you. So Vaikuntha Loka is for those who want Supreme Lord. Material world is, you want my energies. That's the difference. So He is giving us a thing that it's your choice. Do what you want.
So I like this very nice point where you said that Shiva is everywhere. Many times we hear in some Shiva devotee also they say that in scripture also it is mentioned that Shiva is everywhere. So now when you said that means everywhere in according to their position,
Yes.
not like in everyone's heart in their
Correct,
position.
correct,
So
correct.
and wherever they go,
Correct.
they can take the help of Lord Shiva and go to Krishna.
Correct, correct.
Navigate. So that
Thank you.
is
But
nice.
in Kanchi also, Shiva's community is different and Vishnu's community is different. But here you are telling Vishnu and Shiva both are relationship is there.
Correct.
Why in Kanchi there is
So-
actually the difference?
The understanding of the Vedic scriptures is not uniform across all sampradayas and for different people. What I have presented is something which is understood in the lineage of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is also true in the lineage of Madhvacharya. But where in Kanjipuram you have the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya and you have the Shankar Sampradaya. Their understanding is a little different. So there is one Vedic scripture. Everybody has their own understanding. So that's the way it is.
Excuse me, I have a question. You said that there are other lokas, different Brahmas, Brahmas with 4 heads,
10,000 heads.
and all that. Then who are all staying there? What kind of people are staying there?
Different kinds of, again, jivas.
No, who is better? We are better or they are better?
No, the problem is not that. The problem is we have to get out of all these andas. So the moment we think
No,
of
we are in
better.
the first step or
No, it is
they
not-
are more superior?
So the thing here is, we are better in a different way. You see, when a student is getting, in my era, 35 marks was the passing marks. So we are Kali Yuga people. We cannot cross 35 also. So when we cannot cross 35, what happens is they give some special marks and say just 34 or 35, they'll give one extra mark and pass the student and say, let the person go. We in earth are a unique set of that pass grade students because Krishna appeared just 5,000 years ago. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago. It is still present here. It is this Bhuloka by which we can go directly to the spiritual planet. If even we go to Swargaloka, we go to Janaloka, etc., it is little complicated because there the comforts are more. The more you go to more sophisticated places, we like to tend to stay there. If you go to a 5-star hotel, you tend to stay there for some more time. So they are all like 10-star, 20-star hotels kind of a thing. So it is better. Bhuloka is said to be the best place because we have both Sukha and Dukkha. In many other places, the Sukha is 99%, Dukkha is 1%. In fact, in the Swargaloka, it is said that when it goes to the Swargaloka, entire life they are happy. Just at the last minute they are unhappy, and the soul comes out in the form of the tear and goes to some other place. But by that time, they have extinguished all the punya karma. And once they extinguish all the punya karma, what happens? Come back here. So we are sitting here, we are gaining some punya and papa, go there. It's just what the bank person does, debit, credit. That is all that we are doing here. We have to come out of debit credit business. Totally.
Okay, we'll start chanting. Om Vishnu Paraya. Telugu Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.